Welcome everybody to the weekly WP Roundup with BJ Keeton. That's me. And every Friday afternoon, I go live and talk to you about the absolute best news and tutorials and resources that I was able to find that were published this week about WordPress. We try to have a really active community here. The chats and live chats and comments are really active. So feel free to throw anything in the comments that you want. You have any questions, any comments, and feel free to say hi. Also, we have all of the links that we have in the description. All of the links that we are going through today are in the description of this video. So if you expand that, you'll be able to see all of the wonderful content creators' work that we're going through, and clicking through that will just give them the love that they need, so that we can keep doing this every day. So I really appreciate you guys coming out here today. I apologize for those of you who were watching just a few minutes ago. My streaming software crashed halfway through the countdown, so I think everything should be up and running now. So it's looking like it at the very least. So I hope everyone has been having a wonderful week, and probably an even better Friday, considering that it's Friday. And so we might as well dig in. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about today is that WP Tavern had noted that Google put out a developer beta of a SiteKit plugin, where you're going to be able to get all of your Google Search Console information inside your WordPress admin dashboard. This is going to be fantastic for people like me who end up forgetting to open up the Search Console nearly as often as I need to, that it's a regular thing I go check, but unless there's an error, I might not see it every single time. So this is a plugin that I will almost guaranteed have running on every site that I have. I'm figuring that you guys will too, given if it's worthwhile. The way that they talk about it is that there's going to be site verification for the Search Console, which is going to be fantastic. There is configuration for analytics and AdSense, the Tag Manager, and Optimize. You can aggregate per page reporting. It's got performance audits, which is just fantastic because we know that affects the Google rankings themselves. And then there are going to be other insights and things like that with services that you've connected. So it's going to be really awesome. I'm looking forward to this going, full live very much. So I wanted you guys to know about that coming up. But when I saw that linked in our ET chat, I was very happy to see that. So I really appreciate, I can't remember who linked it in our Slack, but I really do appreciate them doing it. So the other big news that came out this week, and I'm sure you've heard of this one, and if you haven't, I'm glad to be the one to break it to you, that WP Engine is buying Flywheels. So two of the bigger WordPress hosting, managed hosting companies are merging like this. So WP Engine is buying Flywheel. The statement that they've put out really indicates that not a whole lot is going to change in terms of the dashboard, the services, and like affiliate programs and things like that. But it's going to be really interesting to see the how it plays out in the long term, because WP Engine tends to be the real enterprise solution. They put out a very professional, streamlined interface, and where they handle a lot of customers at scale. And then Flywheel is designed with a lot of their systems specifically for designers, where they have workflows to hand off your site to clients more easily and things along those lines. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these two merge and what kind of technology we get because of that merge. Managed WordPress hosting is huge. I'm sure that there are a lot of you guys on on the chat right now who are watching this who use managed hosting. So I'm really interested to see those of you who are on WP Engine and those of you who are on Flywheel, what you think about this. Do you think that this is a good thing, not a bad thing? Do you think that you're not going to be affected at all by it? I'm just really curious on what people think, because I've really only ever heard good things about both of them, just in terms of platforms that people are on. So it's interesting to me that they're coming together. What this also means, I'm hoping, is that the local program, but that Flywheel does, Local by Flywheel, it lets you do local WordPress development on your machine, on your local machine. I wonder where it got its name. And that is a Flywheel. You can use it whether you're on Flywheel or not, but there are integrations with Flywheel so that you can do a lot more deployment and development more integrated. And so with WP Engine buying them, it's going to be wonderful to implement those kind of workflows for WP Engine sites, because local is an absolutely fantastic piece of software. So it's going to be really, really cool to see that go to WP Engine, most likely, kind of, maybe. So it's that's going to be really, really neat to see. I see that there are people in the comments. Hi, Kieran. Hi, Dave. Hi, Donald. I see Judy and Arlindo in the comments. And Juan from Mexico. Hello, 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 everybody. I'm so glad that you guys were able to make it. I see that Mustafa on Facebook says the best theme, and I appreciate that. That is awesome. We think so too, so I totally appreciate that vote of confidence. I always love hearing that somehow we have helped and made any kind of impact in people's lives. So to hear that when someone thinks we're the best, it just warms our hearts. The next thing under news is Matt Mullenweg's summertime update. So if you'll remember, last week I talked about WCEU WordCamp Europe was going on while we were streaming. And if you haven't looked at the live streams, if you haven't seen any of the videos of sessions and that kind of thing, there's a link under this one. It should be the fourth link in the description. Yes, the fourth link in the description. That is no, the fifth one, excuse me. It's the fifth one for the playlist of all the videos from WordCamp Europe. So you'll be able to check all of those out. They will eventually be up on WordPress.tv, but right now you can watch them on YouTube in their uncut glory, where you have like 9 hours of playlists to go through and find. But if you weren't able to make it, that is lots and lots of content every day that you can watch and see. It's really good, and apparently this was a wonderful conference, that there was a lot going on. People were meeting each other and making friends, and it was just great. Matt did his address where he talks about what's going on in WordPress and where we're moving toward the end of the year, and he talked about how the block editor itself, it's complete, that we have finished that phase of WordPress, that we have it in core, we have made sure that we have put it as the default, and that is good. What's in progress right now, he talked about, is that the block editor, I guess it is the blog editor too, the block editor is moving outside of the post content area, where you can move into the widget area, the header area, and move it and use those blocks anywhere that you want. So they're trying to, I don't want to say widgetize the entire page through Gutenberg, but they're wanting to make it so that you have a full page builder using Gutenberg across the site. That will probably be overall next year by the time we fully get that. I don't expect it to make leaps and bounds above where it is. Maybe widgets are coming soon, but I don't expect full page builder, theme builder kind of stuff until next year sometime. but that is what is in progress right now. I believe the next thing that we're going to get that's in Gutenberg, the plugin next, is going to be widgets, where you get block editors, blocks. I always want to say boxes instead of blocks, but you're going to get the block editor in the widget areas. So later than that, what he was talking about is that there's going to be writing and editing collaboration. I've seen some talk about like Google Docs real-time editing together, where it'll make an editorial process and workflow move a lot better and that kind of stuff. He mentioned, more core support for multilingual sites. He talked about that there will be a block library, which this is the most interesting thing, I guess, the most exciting thing that he mentioned for me, where they say on WP Shout here, the summary is there will be a block library for installing blocks straight from the editor. If you want a slider but don't have a slider block installed, you'll be able to search slider and then install and use a slider block plugin straight from the editor. That is going to be really, really nice, where I've already run into situations where I needed a different kind of block than I had. I didn't want to use a page builder for this particular, blog post, and I wish that I'd had just this one small kind of thing, and that will be something I can do in the future using this block library. It's really fantastic. A really fantastic idea. I don't know if it's fantastic, but it's a really fantastic idea. They also talk about how there are going to be a snap to grid layout, different kind of blocks, talking about the democracy in WordPress decision making, and he says that we don't know what the future of themes will be, and it may be up to theme makers to figure that out. On the current trajectory, it seems like themes will play a smaller role, so it's up to theme makers to do something different and keep them highly relevant, which is not untrue. Where it is, when you have Gutenberg being an entire theme editor, where do you go but to get features from your themes? That's going to be really interesting to see how people react to that. Just like, you guys use the Divi editor and the layouts that we provide through the theme and the builder that way, it'll be an interesting thing to see how other theme makers, and us included, will react to how the landscape changes over the next few years. So it's really interesting to me to always hear what Matt says, and it's going to be interesting to see what he says at WordCamp US this year when we're in St. Louis, I think is where it is this year. So that's going to be really cool to see what he says at the State of the Word. So yeah, let me see, check chat here so that I see what I've got. Pablo asked, what happened to the YouTube stream? Oh, that would maybe why I'm not getting any chats. It's showing live on mine. Let me restart the stream over there, Pablo. I will, that will hopefully restart. It shows me as live, but you're right, it's not showing a video on that side. Maybe that will come through. And I see Ryan Nearhood asks on Facebook, when are we going to be able to customize the headers in the Divi Builder? And that will be soon. The last I heard, it is very close in the pipeline. It is going to be... I'm not sure on an actual ETA on it, but that's going to be with the theme builder. That's going to be with the Divi 4.0 update. And I know that there are plans going on in the background, behind the scenes of that launch and everything that we're going to do for Divi 4.0. So that's absolutely coming. I see. Oh, and there is the live stream. There is the live chat coming through. Yay. I see that now. And I see that Kieran asked, what about the custom footer credits? Kieran, can you expand on that just a little bit for me on what you mean by credits? Like being able to edit that within the, where it says that, created by Elegant Themes or designed by Elegant Themes and all of that, or is there something different than I'm thinking of? I see... I don't have any idea what's going on with YouTube. you guys, it is not liking me today. Hopefully we will be able to get this going and working again. I see Kieran. Okay, cool. Kieran said exactly. The one thing that you can do now is go into your theme customizer, and there is a footer box on there where you can type in whatever customization that you want for the credits. You have to use HTML right now. That's what I always end up doing, and it is very easy to do, I think, and don't hold me to this because I haven't used the theme editor myself, but I think from what I understand, the customizable headers and footers, that will be included in the customizable footers in the theme builder. I'm not 100% on that, like I said, but it's absolutely, hopefully, absolutely, hopefully, doesn't mean anything. That is what I would assume it to be. But right now, you can go in, do your theme, appearance, customize, and then there will be a box under footer that you can go into and type in whatever custom credits that you want. I see Martin commented saying, I've seen people comment that Divi is getting slower with every update due to bloat. Are they aware of this? Yes, we have seen comments like that. We have taken that into consideration. And one thing that we did, I think 2 weeks ago, was publish a performance update. We're really hoping everyone updates their Divi builder, updates their Divi theme, where you can use them two separately. I say that separately, where you can use the Divi builder plugin or the Divi theme that has it built in. We're really hoping people will update so that you will get the major performance update. It should give you a few seconds off of your speed on your page speed, just like that. It made me being able to go to my pages, it made the builder run faster and decrease their load time. So I know that's one thing that they're doing, and they're always looking at different ways to make sure that it runs as smoothly as possible. And I know that's part of 4.0 as well, to make sure. I know that's been part of the delay, is making sure that it runs as smoothly and quickly as possible, because it is a big piece of software. So we want to make sure that it runs quickly, efficiently, and stably, because it needs to work with all of the Divi sites that are out there. But yeah, we've seen those, and we actually did publish a performance update 2 weeks ago. So I think it's 3.25.1. It's right in there, because I think we got 3.25.3 right now. But the if you update at all, you will get that one, and it's going to be really awesome. I know it speeded up for me a great deal, just in terms of running in Chrome with a lot of different windows open. It made a big difference for me with different parts of the builder, as well as page speed itself on the user's end. So apparently YouTube is good right now, hopefully. I don't honestly know why the chat is being very, very weird in terms of not updating, but it is. So I apologize to everyone at YouTube, where if I'm not able to see your comment, I know that I usually do, it's being very strange over on YouTube. So I'm not seeing comments update in real time at all. So that is always fun. I'm seeing Facebook update in real time, so that is also very helpful. I see let's see, Oliver on Facebook says, when will the header builder arrive? That is going to be included in the Divi 4.0 update, where we get the header, footer, and pretty much every other kind of customizer. But that one is coming soon. That's one where like I'd said just a little bit ago, that we're ironing out the last bits, and it will be out very soon. They're planning out the launch of Divi 4.0 right now. And I see Ryan asks, is the contact form module going to be expanded to include more features, such as the drop-down selections that tend to that send to different email addresses based on selection. I haven't seen anything along those lines, Ryan. I haven't like dug through proposed changes or updates to it, but that's not one that's been brought to my attention. So if it's being talked about, it's within the dev team. That's not one I heard about, but that's a very good suggestion as well. So I see people on YouTube are doing that, and I will move forward now. So talking about WordCamp Europe, talking about the Matt Mullenweg and his summertime update, there is a Delicious Brains recap of the entire conference that a lot of you may really enjoy reading, because I love conference recaps. They make me really happy. And this one is really, really good because it talks about the biggest WordCamp Europe ever. 3,260 tickets were sold. 2,700 of those attended. They had 11,000 meals served. It is just insane how many things were going on at once. There's this one talk that I'm going to catch when it hits WordPress TV, because I don't know when it was to be able to sort through all of the different live streams. But the Marcel Bootsman walked 700 kilometers to get to WordCamp EU to raise money for charity, and then spoke at the event about why he did that. So it is going to be awesome. And for doing that and during it, Marcel now has a custom and limited edition Wapoo, and it looks really cool. It's a hiker walker with water bottle and his cap and bandana and everything, and I just love it. So I'm also a big fan of the Wapoos, though. So it's really cool. They go through just some highlights of what kinds of panels there were, what kind of talks that would be very good to watch on rewatching, and talking about the people and the hallway track where everybody makes friends. Like I've mentioned, WordCamp US in 2017, I didn't attend a panel and was stuck in the hallway track the entire time getting to know people, and it was awesome. So it's A-okay to do that. And like I had mentioned before, there are playlists on YouTube of the stream that they did during WordCamp EU, and you can click that as the fifth video, fifth link in the description of this video. And then under the news, I guess I put this under news, but it may not actually even be considered news, really. But I wanted to make sure that you guys saw it, because WP Blog Designer did a 35 of the most popular WordPress Twitter users that you should be following. And anytime there are lists like this, I want to bring attention to them. One, because I'm hoping that there are some people on this list watching this perhaps and see that they're getting credit for the awesome work that they do. And also, I want to bring to y'all's attention the awesome work that these people do, and so that you can follow them and maybe use their products or get to know them as a connection in the industry, because that's really what Twitter is about making connections and talking with people. That's where I have some of the best discussions I have online. It's just a wonderful platform. I love it. And to see these 35 people, there were a lot of them that I both know and that I know that I've never seen. So it's wonderful to be able to follow and see different people on there. Like they mentioned Chris Lima, Juice DeValk. They have Bridget Willard and Jeff Chandler. I'm skipping over people. Adam Connell, Tom McFarlane. And then just tons of people. Kevin Muldoon, who you've probably seen him write a million articles on WordPress around. Carrie Dills, Joyce Grace, Christy Hines, Davesh Sharma, Remy Corson, Regina Smola, Mark Joaquin, Alice Elliott. You get the idea. There are a lot of people for you to follow and get to know and see the amazing work that they do. So I'm imploring you to check that one out, the last one under the news section. So it's well worth a click through. Trying a new water bottle. How y'all like that? It flavors the water as I drink. Um, so for those of you who have come in late, for those of you who may be just joining us, or this may be your first time, we finished up the news section of the stream. The way that this tends to work is I go through the news, then the tutorials, and then the resources if we have time. The resources are kind of the things that would be fun to tweet out. The good resources, and the tutorials are the ones that I hope that you can learn something from, obviously. And I want to make sure that you know that this stream will be archived, so you can go and check it out on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel and see anything that you've missed. So make sure that you expand the description of the video and click through the links, because that is where you will find what I'm talking about. So yeah, it is. I think I know the problem with what's going on with the stream, and at least if there's internet issues with it, that it is storming outside. So you guys may hear some thunder soon. Under tutorials, I could not resist putting the very first one under tutorials. Render snarky comments in Comic Sans. This gives you the ability to take WordPress comments and make them look like memes. It's wonderful, and I'm so happy that this exists, because we all know that the internet comments that we get it's the internet. Nobody is going to be happy all the time. People tend to speak out about their unhappiness more than happiness. And sometimes you publish something on your blog and you just get a really nasty response on the article. And so what this guy does is he has these scripts and an NPM plugin that you can use and shows you how to use it. It walks through how to use all of this, where it analyzes the tone and syntax and semantics of the comment, and then if it is not what it considers if it's I've tickled myself, if it's not what it considers a natural sounding comment, that if it is a salty comment, which is what I just love, that is part of it, static comments reply salty, end if, it will make sure that it uses random case and Comic Sans to do this. It makes me very, very happy. It actually took a plugin. Oh my, that thunder. It took an extra plugin called Random Case to do the alternating caps, but the example is I guys, I just love this. Like, I'm so happy that this exists because it is the before, and this says it was taken from a real comment on his site. You can click through and see this. It says it's from Geez Louise, and the comment is, "Hey man, you need to fix this or take it down. Don't you see how many people are complaining that it doesn't work?" And then the after is in alternating caps on in Comic Sans that looks like the SpongeBob meme that goes, "Hey man, you need to fix this or take it down." And it's that kind of thing. It's wonderful, and I love everything about this. I do not suggest putting this on a site that you run as a major professional publication, because automatically calling out like trolls and things like that and kind of mocking them only fuels the fire. But for fun sites and things where this would go over really well, I am so glad that this exists. I cannot tell you how happy I am that I ran across this. So if you want to make your snarky comments just appear snarkier and kind of make fun of them, you can do it now. So you're welcome. So thank you, random internet link, Zach Leet. I see hi Adriano in Brazil. Checking the comments. I'm good. And then there are some really good Elegant Themes tutorials. I always have to mention the good stuff that Donyeta and Jason are doing. Donyeta has how to create beautiful blurred backgrounds with Divi. It's very beautiful. All of her designs are insanely good, and it is just stunning. So you need to check that out. And then the next link under that one, the third one down on the on the tutorials list, is a WooCommerce link. It is using events and wacky holidays to attract new and returning customers. It makes me super happy when I see stuff like this, because some of my favorite sales on the internet are when they are just random wacky holidays where you're going to be like, it's International Donut Day. We're going to take 8% off because it looks like 2 donuts stacked on top of each other. I love stuff like that. My wife and I have a thing where we say we like dumb stuff, and that's super dumb, but it's super dumb in the best way possible. And so that is what this is talking about, like using local and national sports and entertainment events to promote different kinds of things. You can have Wimbledon sales, and the what is it? The WWC, you can have sales for that, and just all sorts of things. And they talk about like wacky holidays and months where July 2nd is World UFO Day. July 7th is Tell the Truth Day. July 12th is Simplicity Day, they say. August 2nd is International Beer Day. August 13th is Left-Handers Day. I'm left-handed, so give me a discount, you guys. August 21st is Spumoni Day, where we can talk about the delicious spumoni, and maybe you run an Italian place and you can have spumoni discounts or whatever you want to do. It's this kind of stuff is really cool. If you're a restaurant, you can promote using Eat Outside Day. Whatever it is, these kinds of holidays really, really work for business, because people like getting in on stuff like Talk Like a Pirate Day. You can make so much money on Talk Like a Pirate Day by doing something silly, and it's wonderful. That's what this is talking about, where you can incorporate this kind of stuff as they're relevant to your audience. There's no reason for, Elegant Themes to run a Talk Like a Pirate Day sale. I mean, that doesn't tie in necessarily with our audience, but if you're a sporting goods store and you run a World Cup sale or a Wimbledon sale or whatever, anything like that, you might be able to do that. If you're a video game blog, you can run a sale on like FIFA merchandise or FIFA codes for different games, things like that. That's what they're talking about. Provide events and products that are exclusive to those events. That will be the only time you can get this particular layout pack. Like we have Black Friday layout packs that you can only get if you are a subscriber or a member to Elegant Themes on Black Friday. So those kinds of things work out really, really well. They're very popular. So that it lets you take part in the event. You can target Facebook ads. It says that you can talk about a lot of this. It goes through a great deal of information in here, and I think that you will get some use out of that. I see that Shanur on YouTube asks any update on the header builder. Yes, it will be out soon. It's part of Divi 4.0, and it is Divi 4.0. I mean, that's the theme builder, and that's what's included in it, and that is in the planning stages of launch right now. So y'all will get that very soon. So moving into other tutorials. Man, the storm has got me confused. I want to skip down quite a bit, like just roll on down with me on different approaches. On enhance your workspace and boost your productivity, because this is really important to me right now, and I'm thinking that I'm not the only one who keeps a really messy desk space, that I have a hard time finding desk space to write on when I have to write something. So it's talking about how that kind of thing can really detract from your productivity and really your comfort overall, where he's talking at the very beginning of this on, that you need to take comfort first, that whatever your workspace is, that you need to make it somewhere that you are comfortable. That I had to get a new chair because my back started hurting. I had to get one with lumbar support and even a footrest, and it reclines out, and it's great. So that's what I had to have, because I couldn't spend 8 to 10 hours a day here just sitting and, not being able to move afterwards. You want a height adjustable desk. They say a comfortable chair meant for longer duration sitting. I like gamer chairs specifically for, I like the look of them, but I like gamer chairs because they are meant for people to sit for long periods of time and stream, and to hold up to pretty consistent abuse like that. So it's this one's done me well, and I suggest that kind of thing to anybody who needs it. He talks about making sure that your computer and accessories are up to snuff for comfort. That I switched to a mechanical keyboard. You can see part of it over here, so that with that, I have a much easier time typing than I do on like my laptop's flat MacBook keyboard. And so that has made me a faster typer with fewer errors, and honestly, it's made my wrists hurt less. So going to that, it was really important. And it comes with a soft padded thing that attaches to it, and it is super wonderful to have. I will never have a keyboard that doesn't have one of those now. It's wonderful. I got a mouse that you can see with a bunch of different buttons on it on the side. It's a gaming mouse, but I use those for other stuff all those buttons do different things in all of my programs too. So that's what I would highly suggest to people. And it's talking about that with a monitor and mount, where if you're on a laptop, get a second monitor. That if you work on a laptop all the time, that a lot of times it's a little bit below you, and having a second monitor attached to it makes a big deal. And he talks about enjoying the little things with it, and this one I think is really, really important, that you have a space where you feel comfortable, like aesthetically, and just the atmosphere is somewhere you want to be, where you don't want to work anywhere that makes you feel stifled. And I mean, around me, I have you can see my Mickey Mouse, my Spider-Man, my race medals. That kind of thing really makes it fun for me to be in here and look up and see. I have a Yoda Tsum Tsum in front of me, and a Sora Funko Pop, a bag of dice in Birdie Bot's Every Flavored Bean bag. That kind of thing is just where I like to work, and the kind of stuff I surround myself with. He has guitars on the wall, and some people keep lots of plants around them, huge windows, whatever it is. Those kinds of elements add up over time to making it much more comfortable for you to be in that space. So this was one that I really wanted to go through in the tutorials, just to point out to you guys that how important it is, and how big a difference that it can make that on that. I see Shanur asks, any expected date of Divi 4.0, 15 days, a month, 6 months? I'm not at liberty to say, because I don't know. I know rough-ish, and that changes every day depending on QA. So I can't say, but I would... The only thing I can say is it'll be soon. And I know that people are tired of hearing that, but this is something that I know is soon. I've seen the list, and hopefully I've built up enough trust with y'all who are watching this to know that as I know it right now, it is high on the list of launch of releases to finish QA, and then there is going to be the launch of 4.0. Since I'm not involved in that, I can't say the exact timeline. I just know soon-ish. So hopefully that'll do a little bit, but I would not. It's not next year. I know that much. So I I'm not even, from what I understand, it's not even 6 months out. Like, I don't even think it. Nick had mentioned a couple of months ago, it was a few weeks out. Then there were some things that would have destroyed, like, I don't even want to say destroyed because I didn't see them. Like, there were issues that needed to be quality, go through QA that had to be addressed with bugs. And so that it is now finishing up that process. So soonish. And Judy, thank you for for pointing that out. That I couldn't say the word wrist rest. That when I pulled that, I don't know why that the term left my. You're right. That's exactly what it is. I could not say the phrase wrist rest. Although I don't know if I've ever said that out loud, like the phrase wrist rest, and it feels very weird coming out of the mouth. It's a very strange, like, split the way that you say it, wrist rest. It's hard to say, actually. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. No, I will not say it 10 times quickly, Judy, because if I do that, it will tongue-tie me, and I already have a hard time with getting tongue-tied. It goes back to when I was a small child. I had a speech impediment and couldn't speak very well, and said my awas all the time, and so wrist rest would be like turning into Wib West. So I know what it would. You got me. So I thought that there were some other really cool ones under tutorials here that you guys would want to know about too. Like the 6 no BS ways to create passive income from blogging. And this has ideas and tools. It's a Torque Mag article. Torque is great. And it has, they talk about the normal stuff. They talk about affiliate marketing, which, you guys know about, I'm sure, where you probably do affiliate marketing, but they go further down. They talk about different passive income tools and things like that. They talk about drop shipping. So if you've never thought about a drop shipping program to make money that's passive, once you set that up, it's an e-commerce store that you don't have to worry about any of the actual delivery, that you have worked that out ahead of time. Somebody places an order, you're the middle person, and then it goes to someone else to ship it. It is super awesome. They talk about selling personal resources, where this works a lot. So like if you have lost weight and you have put together a recipe book, and that's what you use to lose your massive amount of weight. Well, you've just created something that you can sell, because I pretty much guarantee you that there are people who are wanting to lose weight who would love to have those recipes that helped you. It's that kind of thing. Like if you found a way to get over a skin condition, they say that kind of stuff. They talk about how you can publish ebooks. Ebooks are great to do this. I can personally vouch for the ebooks being a great passive income tool. By having ebooks up on my website and Amazon and all the other different ebook sellers, passively after writing them and everything, it has been a steady stream. And before they kind of fell off, I was able to pay a down payment on my house because of the novels I'd written. So ebooks, oh my goodness, you guys, I can promise you that if you've not thought about putting out ebooks and actually selling them and having that passive income, it's really good if you're able to do that kind of thing. Talk about preparing online courses and creating software, all of that. But there are things that you can do that take, upfront work that you can then just kind of rest on and market as you go to be able to do it. I'm going to check the Facebook comments because it stopped scrolling down automatically. And then the very last one under tutorials is it's an Elegant Themes article on how to use WordPress as a backend, resources for getting started with the REST API. And I wanted you guys to read this one and think about it, because as wonderful as WordPress is, we all love WordPress. Sometimes your client needs a site that does something completely different and it would be too hard to do in WordPress, or the front end of the site needs to do something that the typical theme hierarchy can't do. So that's when the REST API comes in, where you're able to use an external platform to pull information from the WordPress database. So you can use WordPress as a backend for whatever you want. There are apps using React Native on iOS and Android that are using WordPress as their database that they pull from via REST. So it's that kind of thing that if you're interested in, we have a really good article up that went up this week. So moving into resources, before I finish this out, the last few minutes, I absolutely could not mention one of my favorite articles I've seen in a long time on the Elegant Themes blog. It is Don't Be Mean and the 6 Other Golden Rules of Marketing. This is one of the most important things that you can keep in mind. Like I was talking about these snarky comments in Comic Sans and alternating caps, this is number one on the internet to me, is being a nice person. That don't be mean when you're marketing for your brand goes a long way, and it goes a lot further than you think it might. That you don't want to obviously mock your audience, and more than that, you don't want to mock your competition, because there is competition is healthy, and a lot of times the people and brands that seem to be rivals actually have a relationship based on that rivalry. A lot of times it's not negative, but your messaging about your competitors and about different kinds of people in your industry, that matters. And so the rule of don't be mean really should be the number one thing that you abide by online by marketing, because it's easier to connect with people that way. I think it was Lindsay who wrote this one, and she said, she was like, kinder marketing encourages more responses, and those responses will be kinder, which we all know that responses to customer support stuff may not always be kind. Changing wording in live chat and customer service emails. I learned early on, when I used to be a teacher, I ran a learning center at our school, and we used a piece of tutor tracking software for our time and logging in and stuff like that, where it was called Tutor Track, and it was a great piece of software. I loved this software. It did things like if somebody didn't log out, it logged them out automatically and sent them a reminder email like, hey, you mind logging out next time? It messes with our numbers. Only it didn't say it like that. It sent them a stock message that I wasn't aware how to edit when I first got it, that said, your visit will be terminated, or your visit has been terminated, and went on to say some stuff that you don't need to do this, that you must log out before you leave. The way that was worded got me so many phone calls that I had to take part of that day to figure out and go through the documentation on how to edit the text of that particular email, because the phrasing made students think that I had banned them from my center. And that is absolutely not what happened. But the idea was that the wording of that messaging, had it been kinder, and what I eventually changed it into, went from, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to get banned, what did I do, is there anything I can do, I'm so scared, I need this help, to emails of, oh, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to not log out, I'll make sure I do it better next time. And it's like, these are from college students who, I mean, I love these students, but having been 18 to 22 before, you're not exactly the most mindful person, and you don't exactly respond well to every situation. And I was getting apology emails from people for not signing out of a center, and it's like, it was great to see that, and that's all because of wording in marketing emails. So think about that. Being nice, being kind, being optimistic works. I realized last night, I have a question I'll get to before this, but on the same note, I had realized last night I was reading a thread where someone mentioned Cory Doctorow, and he is a huge digital rights activist. He's a science fiction author, and I admire him a great deal. And I had realized when I clicked into like his profile on this thread that he had blocked me on Twitter. Like one of my favorite writers had blocked me on Twitter, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? And I tweeted about it. That made me sad that I admire him and all of that. And one of my Twitter followers actually, instead of replying to me, was like retweeted with comment where it was like, please reconsider, was like, here's one of the kindest, most optimistic people trying to, and I'm just like, man, I didn't realize people actually saw that, but it was like not anything that I had done at my behest or anything like that. I was just amazed and blown away by that. And I bring that up to say that I try to be nice and optimistic and kind on the internet, and it does garner that kind of response back if you do that in marketing and brand building, all of that. So, it's and Cory Doctorow did respond actually and apologized and unbanned me. So he said he must have fat fingered it. Sorry, and but I thought that was just nice. It was a nice anecdote to make me happy on that. And to wrap up, before we finish, I want to remind you guys to go through the resources in the description of this video. There are a lot that I couldn't get to, like the WP Gears podcast on the only two things that matter in marketing. There is a Code in WP blog about Bootstrap versus Foundation versus Bulma versus Semantic versus UI Kit. And it's a really interesting read. I'd forgotten about Foundation, but I'd forgotten how much I liked Foundation as well. I actually like Foundation a lot better than Bootstrap. So if you've never tried it, might be something to try out if you're a Bootstrap user. And so, like I said, the last thing that I wanted to address before I go is the Pradeep asked what Cdn means. And what Cdn is a content delivery network that basically acts as a proxy between your website and the end user to get your content to them faster. I will be 100% transparent with you that I am not 100% sure on exactly how CDNs do their internet magic, but it is content delivery network so that the content on your website is delivered to your users faster via faster servers, faster caching, that kind of stuff. And it really helps with page load speed and things like that. If you're on certain hosts like SiteGround, I know they do it because I use them, but I know others do as well. There is a free CDN through through Cloudflare that you can activate that can increase the speed of your site. Jetpack actually has an option if you want to deliver your images through the WordPress, the WP.com CDN, you can get faster image load times by doing that. If you've ever looked at a WordPress image and it had weird like cd0.wp. whatever after it before it gets to the URL for that site, that's what that is. That one's been delivered by the CDN to do that. There will occasionally be issues where content won't show up, that kind of thing, if it's not configured correctly. So it's not something to go into just willy-nilly and just like, yes, it's on, because I've done that before and then found out, I don't know, 2 weeks later that my site had been down and nobody had told me because I crashed my site and nothing was being delivered because I had it incorrectly configured. So that was fun to find out. But doing it right, it will massively speed up your connection to your users, and it can provide a level of security between you and them. So from hacking specifically and, malware, that kind of stuff. Not necessarily malware, but like brute force login attacks, that kind of stuff. So that is all the time that I've got today, you guys. I apologize for the beginning of the stream when it seemed like there was more issues with my software wanting to completely shut down while I was streaming. But I appreciate you guys coming in. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch us. We here at Elegant Themes really, truly appreciate that, and we would love it if you would click the subscribe button or follow us along on Facebook. You can also click the bell on on YouTube and tell Facebook that you want notifications for whenever we go live, and you will get any of our live streams pushed to you to know that when we've gone live. It's not just me. We have weekly WordPress, of course it's WordPress, BJ, weekly use case streams with Jason and Donietta showing different ways to use Divi just different ways to use Divi. And when we have new feature releases, Mac will do a stream at 6 a.m. Eastern time to walk through those and answer questions. He also the Jason and Donietta stream is also at 3 p.m. Eastern, just like this one. So make sure, like I said, you click the buttons and mark your calendar, because I will be back next Friday on, I guess it's July 5th, one day after the American holiday when we ran away from England. And but I really appreciate you guys coming in and watching this. I always appreciate it. And remember, if you have any questions or anything that you want to share, click on the WP hashtag weekly WP Roundup, and we will see that and talk during the week. So you guys have an absolutely magnificent weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Bye, everybody.